He risked his life to fight for our freedom. Windspeaker publication, Pamela Sexsmith Green. D-Day, June 6, 1944. One of the big battles in the history of the free world. Donald Angus, gunner, regimental number L11305, Island Tank, 3rd Division, was there deep in the thick of occupied territory. From the dark, smoky landing in Normandy to the bloody D-Day landing and the final triumphant crossing of the Rhine, he shared in it all. The pain, the glory, the agony, and got out with his life. He had risked his life and limb for his country and fellow soldiers, given his all, and came home safe and sound. One of the lucky ones, one of the boys. It wasn't until he got back home to Canada that Angus realized that he wasn't one of the boys any longer. He was on equal footing with the other guys in his squadron. He was a Canadian native veteran, discriminated against in his own country by the government and the people he risked his life to protect. He was a soldier left out in the cold, shut out by the federal government, and betrayed by some of his own band members back home on the reserve in Saskatchewan. His story. It all happened a long time ago, you know. When something like that happened, you just don't forget about it. Sometimes you remember, and it's like it just happened yesterday. Even now at night in my dreams, I remember. I sit up in bed, then realize I'm safe now. I can never forget, especially when I remember waking up in a trench with 3 dead Germans. When I first decided to enlist, my grandfather, Louis Angus, told me, "Go ahead, do your best, fight for your country." He was in the Riel Rebellion, you know, a real fighter. He talked to Palmaker. My mom and dad, Joe Angus, didn't try to stop me either, and they were all glad when I came back alive because there had been so many dead Canadian soldiers on the beaches of Normandy. Angus enlisted as a young man who was hitting his stride in the war between 1942 and 1946. Starting his military training in Grand Prairie, Alberta, he took advanced training in Petawawa, Ontario, then moved to Halifax and was shipped over to England with the 3rd Division for the D-Day landing, a particularly rough crossing that left many soldiers ill and rolling with sickness on the decks. There were not many native Canadian soldiers in my outfit. We were given special pistol training in England to get ready for the landing. On June 6, 1944, we traveled 22 miles across the English Channel on barges, carrying extra guns, clothing, and ammunition. There were air bombers bombing the beaches when we got off the boats. The water was red with blood. The Germans had been there in France for 5 years waiting. They had machine guns, but they couldn't see us because of the smoke screen. We couldn't see the skies because of the smoke. It was like a big gray cloud up there, but we could hear screaming of the airplanes as they dropped the bombs. There were dead bodies lying everywhere on the beach. Canadians wounded, killed. The Second World War came to a speedy end once the Allied troops of Canadian, English, American, and Polish soldiers stormed the German encampments. The Germans fought back. They were pretty well equipped, you know. In their cement bunkers, they had good weapons, communication, and transportation, but they ran out of gas. Soon they were walking out of there or riding horses stolen from the French farms. We pushed on from June to September through the lines in France, Belgium, Holland, and Germany, finally crossing the Rhine when the war was over. The 3rd Division fought on up to a week in some of the strategic military strongholds, cleaning up pockets of resistance. There were no differences in nationalities among Allied troops. We were all brothers. Native and non-native officers and soldiers were treated exactly the same. We all depended on each other, watched each other's backs, saved each other's lives. We had no heavy equipment, lived on our wits. We were all fighting the same thing. Many fellow soldiers owed their lives to the bravery of the men in the 3rd Division. Raymond Sutter from Viking, Alberta, the dad from the hockey family, got hit in the leg real bad and we saved him. We dragged him to safety. Mike Cosmo from Toronto had his leg blown wide open. He just laid there, so I grabbed him, took cover and pulled him to safety. He lost a leg, but lived to go home. Angus faced danger many times, but his most hair-raising experience happened in the aftermath of a huge bomb explosion. After a long, tough night, I jumped into the trench with my machine gun to take cover and sleep. When I woke up there, 3 Germans were sitting there looking at me with guns. I tried to scramble out of the trench and turned to take another look when I saw that they were dead, sitting up straight, eyes open, and dead. They must have been killed by concussion when a bomb went off very close. I had to sit there with them until they called all clear, so we all come out. Even after fighting was over, the 3rd Division had to deal with groups of dangerous fanatics, men and members of the Hitler Youth Corps who wouldn't give up and wouldn't budge from their manholes. Some of them died defending their ground. We had to firebomb them out, and many died. They died for Hitler. When it came right down to survival skills, native Canadian ingenuity came in very handy overseas, said Angus. Our troop had pretty good food over there, but the French people were starving. Those city guys didn't know how to look after themselves. They had no grub, nothing. We made a big fire, killed a yearling steer, and I showed them how to skin it, cook it up, and cut it. We had some good punch and potatoes, and oh boy, those were hungry, they said. Boy, those Indians sure know how to cook good food. After the war was over, the Germans were allowed to go home on foot and hungry. We turned a lot of road signs around to confuse them and had to clear a lot of dead men, horses, trucks, and tanks off the roads. What a stink that was. When we crossed the Rhine and got to Germany, we went to a bar on a barge that hadn't been bombed. They opened up 3 beers for us. Some Germans came, sat with us, shook hands and said, "You don't know me and I don't know you. Why are we fighting? It's between Hitler and Churchill. You never did nothing to us. Us poor people, we don't want to fight you guys." In the 40s, you had to support your family with no work on the reserve, and his wife Louise Oakney and their 5 children to provide for. Angus left to go into construction in Red Deer in Badgerville, Alberta. He wanted to had not received the same parcel of farmland that had been given to non-native veterans. That's what all these meetings with the federal government have been about. We have good pensions, but hope they settle this land dispute soon, because there are not many war veterans left. We are getting too old to farm. They were supposed to give us our land off reserve. Instead, they gave us land on the reserve. Land we already owned and shared. Canada used to be our country, belonged to all native people. Ours until they took it all away from us and moved us out to the reserves. We fought for Canada, took the same risks as the other soldiers, got the same medals, but when we came home, they didn't want us to give us our land like the rest of the veterans. Angus, who attends Remembrance Day ceremonies every year and special D-Day memorial commemorations, also attends gatherings of native Saskatchewan veterans. We fought for our land, our country, Canada. Now we are still fighting for our land, the land our native veterans never received. I want to tell them to hurry up. We are dying out. They are so slow, the government. Donald Angus. Later on, the Sutter brothers became hockey stars in NHL, lighting it up. Had this world been different if we let Hitler and Churchill box it out in a ring to the bloody end?